Hello friends, welcome to my channel Clinical Biochemistry with Dr. PK Prabhakar. Today I am going to talk about one of the important technique which is used in the generic engineering or molecular biology, that is called as FISS in abbreviation we are going to call it. And this is also called, means FISS is abbreviation for the fluorescent in situ hybridization. So today, if you in this lecture, we are going to see these are the few questions which we will understand today. First, what is the in situ hybridizations? What does in situ hybridization detects? What are the steps in this situ? What can in situ hybridization be used for? What are the application of FISS techniques? What is application of fluorescence in situ hybridization? What is FISS used for diagnosis? So these are some of the techniques, some of the questions we will get answer for these questions. Please be here and watch till the last. So first we will try to understand what is FISS, what is fluorescent in situ hybridization. This fluorescent in situ hybridization is a molecular cytogenetic techniques that use fluorescent probes that binds to only particular parts of the nucleic acid. So later on we will see in detail. So this fluorescent in situ hybridization FISS technique, it is a laboratory, that is, I have already told you, it is a cytogenetic techniques, molecular technique, cytogenetic technique. So we can call it FISS is a molecular cytogenetic laboratory technique which detect and locating the specific DNA sequence on a chromosome. Okay. Then this technique relies on exposing chromosome to a small DNA called probe. So here I have told you, here we are going to use a probe, and that probe is fluorescent levels. So that is a level, so it's called as fluorescent level. And so we are having a probe. Probe means a small DNA fragment, a small DNA sequence which is fluorescently leveled. So that is fluorescent. Hybridization, it is going to hybridize with the specific fragment of DNA, specific part of DNA. So the name came from there. Fluorescent probe used going to be used for the hybridization along with the DNA. So from there this name came. The probe sequence binds to the corresponding sequence on the chromosome. FISS is often used for finding specific features in DNA for use in genetic counseling, medicine, space or species identification. This FISS can be used to detect or localize a specific RNA target, like messenger RNA, RNC RNA, or miRNA in cells, circulating tumor cells, or the tissue samples. In this context, it can also help in the define the spatial temporal pattern of gene expression within the cell or tissue. This technique was first developed by biomedical researchers in the early 1980s for the to detect and localize the presence of the or absence of a specific DNA sequence on chromosome. Fluorescent microscopy can be used to find out whether fluorescence probe is going to be bound with the DNA. Okay. Now these are the different uses of this FISS technology. It helps us in the detection of localization of mutation in the chromosome, so we can detect where is the mutation. It can help in the genetic counseling. It can help you in this subcellular localization of the RNA, messenger RNA or different other RNA. It can also help us in the species identification. So overall, if we'll divide all these application in the two broader range, broader category. So one is biomedical research, and other one is clinical side, clinical diagnostic. So like these are the two different. One important thing is it is going to help you in the mutation. So what is the location? What is the exact place where mutation is there? So that can be detected by this FISS technology, and it will help us in the subcellular localizations finding of the RNA, the exact place of RNA in the cells. Like when we are going to do gene sequencing, DNA sequencing, it can tell you the particular DNA, particular RNA is present or not, but exact location cannot be detected by the PCR or detected by the any kind of sequencing technology. So FISS can give you the subcellular localization of the RNA. Like for example, this is a cells where we are having one RNA which is having two isoforms, isoform 1 and isoform 2. So one isoform is present in the mitochondria, and or some other isoform is present in the other places like Golgi body, you can call it, or you can call it peroxisome. So when you are going to use FISH technology by using different probes, it will give you different type of colors. Now come to the technology. The FISH technology having two important parts. First part is, if you will divide the name, this is one part, FISH, that is fluorescent DNA probe. So that is coming from here. And second one is in situ hybridization. So this in situ hybridization is the second portion that binds with the known DNA sequence. So that from there, this name came already, I have told you. If you see the protocols, so protocols normally contains three basic steps. The first step is labeling of probe. So you need a specific probe. This probe can be DNA. This probe can be RNA. I'm coming later on. What is the difference between the DNA probe, RNA probe, and how many different types of probes we can have? Sorry. So first probe, and that probe should be labeled with fluorescence. In this case, in the FISH technology. Then the target where you want to be hybridized, and the probe, that is DNA or RNA fragment, both are going to be denatured, so that you will ultimately you will get single stranded probe, also single stranded target DNA also. And then this probe is needed to be hybridized with the target. So hybridization of probe and target. So ultimately you will have one original target DNA which will be hybridized with the probe. So ultimately you can find where this probe has been associated with this, where this probe binds on the target DNA. So that is the ultimate thing, and then this we can be visualized by microscopy, either confocal or fluorescent microscopy. Like this is the summary of all those three steps. First, we are going to have a probe. That probe should be complementary to your target DNA, and it should be labeled with the fluorescent labeling. Then we are having a DNA which you are going to heat, so that both the strands of the DNA, target DNA will be separated. So this is the denaturation step. Similarly, probes can also be heated, so that probes can also be separated into the single strands. Then this target DNA and this probe can be hybridized, so that you will have a target DNA which is associated with the probes, so that ultimately you will have a probe and the target DNA will be hybridized. So you will have this type of complementary association, and this will give you the binding of probe at a specific locations. This probe can be of two types. It can be DNA probes or it can be RNA probes. So normally in biology, a probe is a single strand of DNA or RNA which is complementary to a nucleotide sequence of interest. Like if I'm interested of this sequence, so I will make a complementary strand of this one which will be labeled with a specific things. Now, this probe, like we are having basically DNA probes and RNA probes. In DNA, we are having double-stranded DNA probes. So, double-stranded DNA probes are stable and it is easily available and easier to obtain. Then we are having single-stranded. This will be DNA probe. Single-stranded DNA probes, which is stable, easier to work with, more specific and resistant to RNAs, better tissue penetrations with self-hybridations. Then we are having normal RNA probes, high thermal stability, better tissue penetrations with a specific and low background noise by RNA. And then you can have synthetic probes also, which is economical, stable, available, easier for work with, more specific, resistant to RNA, and better tissue penetrations. Now, this probe labeling can be done two types. Either you can normally we are going to have a probe which will be labeled. So labeling can be done by two ways. Either it will be radio labeled or it can be non-radio labeling. When we are talking about radio level, so we are going to labeling with the some specific radioactive components. Like either we can use phosphorus 32, sulfur 35, or tritium hydrogen 3. So these are going to emit some kind of radiations, and that radiations will be measured by Guillermo counter. When we are talking about non-radioactive substances, non-radio labeling, that time we are either going to fluorescence or some specific type of dye binding like biotin or dioxygenin. So these are the how we are going to make a probes. Now, when we want to do this FISH technology, so we are going to take a DNA. DNA will be done nick translation, so it will be nicked, so that ultimately you will have a DNA fragment. So and then with the help of DNA polymerase 1 translate the nick and incorporate labeled nucleotides. So ultimately we are going to have a fluorescent level DNA probe is going to be generated. In case of if you want to generate RNA probes, in that case we are going to use a specific technology that is called as in vitro transcriptions. Here, by using T3 uh, means polymerase, we have make a RNA probes. Now, how we are going to start it in this technology? When we are going to use, so first either you can use animal cells, you can use tissue specific sections, or you can use different other materials to start with. Your sample can be animal cell, you can sample can be tissue sections. So you have taken the samples. Then we are going to fixation steps will be done with the help of formaldehyde. So cell tissue will be fixed at there. Then we are going to making the hybridization solutions. After hybridization solutions, we are going to hybridize it. Now, as you know that we are having two types of probes. One will be biotin associated or fluorescent conjugated to, probes, or you will have fluorescent level probes. Most commonly, for targeting, both can be used. Here in this FISH technology, we are going to use fluorescent level probes. Then once you are going to use probe and you are having tissue already leveled, means associate tissue you have means you can call it fixed. Then you are going to by using the hybridization solutions, you are going to hybridize probe hybridizations and keep it overnight. So leave it for overnight for so that better hybridization will be there. After hybridization, astringent washing will be there and contrasting can be done, and then it will be visualized of the data under the fluorescent microscopy. One of the example is you can do counter staining that their DAPI can be used. So like in this cells you can see these are the different subcellular locations which gives you the visualization of the specific fluorescent. Okay. Now if you are having different types of DNA can be used in the cells. We are having if you are having a cells and you want to see wherever different type of RNA will be there, so you can use a specific type of probes. Like here we are having a fluorescent level probes, and here you are having rhodamine level probes, which is going. This is specific for mRNA X, and this is specific for mRNA Y. In a cells, if we are having two different locations, like this is one type of RNA and this is here we are having another type of RNA, so both RNA is means depending on the probes, uh, mRNA X is located into the cytoplasm. So this probe will bind into the cytoplasmic mRNA, and if mRNA Y is present in the mitochondria, so this probe Y probe will bind with the mitochondria. So a specific type of color, rhodamine color, will be given into the mitochondrial cell portions, and the uh, fluorescent color will be visualized in the cytoplasmic RNA. So different types of color or different type of visualizations will be there for a specific. By using a specific probes for a specific locations, you can detect, you can find out the subcellular localization of the messenger RNA. And this is the exact actual picture when we are going to use DAPI. So this FISH can also be used for structure, means spectral karyotyping. Karyotyping is the process by which we are going to evaluate the chromosomes present in a individual cell. There we are going to use, there are three basic techniques, basic process by which we are doing karyotyping. There we are going to see the size of the chromosomes. There we are going to see the banding pattern of the cells, and there we are going to see the places of centromere. Means you need to picturize, you need to visualize the chromosomes. So there we can use FISH or different types of probes can be used. So FISH helps us in the karyotyping process also. Other than this, FISH can also help us in the prenatal testing for the chromosomal abnormality. FISH can help us in the pathogen identification in the field of medical microbiology. FISH helps in the detection of diagnosis of mutation under the disease like cancer or congenital abnormality. It disease diagnosis using FISH probes like Prader-Willi syndromes or Engman syndromes or Cry-du-Chat syndromes or Down syndromes. These are the different kind of trisomic. So this can be find out. FISH on a sperm cell is indicated for men with an abnormal somatic or mitotic karyotypic, as well as those with oligozoospermia. So these are the different application of the fish. Then fish can have different kind of variations also. Like we are having fiber fish. I'm not going to talk about too much about the detailed different types of fish. Later on, when we will have time, slowly I will make a different video on the different types of fish. Like one category we are going to call single molecular RNA fish. Single molecular RNA fish is also known as Stellarus RNA fish or SM fish. That is a method for the detection and quantifying mRNA and other long RNA molecules in a thin layer of tissue sample. That is smRNA. Then we are having another type that is called as fiber fish, which is an alternative technique to interphase or metaphasic preparation. Fiber fish interphase chromosomes are attached on a slide in such a way that they are stretched out in a straight line rather than being tightly coiled in a conventional fish is adopting a chromosomal territory conformation. And then the third one, we are having Q fish. This combines fish as well as the another technique that is called as peptide nucleic acid. So Q fish is a combination of two different technology, fish and PNA, and computer software to quantify fluorescence intensity. This technique is used routinely for in the telomeric length research. Then we are having another different type of fish that is called as flow fish. So flow fish. Then we have already seen Q fish. Q fish is a combination of fish and PNA. Then we have seen fiber fish. Then we had seen SM fish. So these are different type of fish. Now we're talking about the flow fish. Flow fish are flow cytometry to perform fish automatically using per cell fluorescence measurement. Then we are having the MA fish. MA fish is also called as microfluidics assisted fish. This is used for microfluidic flow to increase DNA hybridization efficiency. Okay. Then we are having MAR fish, that is called as micro autoradiography fish. Then we are having hybrid fusion fish. So many different type of fish technology we are having. Many types of modifications we are having in the fish technology. Now come to the medical application of this fish is often parents of the children with the developmental disability, like just now we have seen Chat syndromes or Down syndrome. So that is normally causes some different kind of disability. So the parents want to know more about their child's condition before choosing to have another child. These conditions can be addressed by analyzing the parents and child's DNA. In case where the child's developmental disability is not understood, the cause of it can potentially be determining using the FISH and cytogenetic technology. Okay. If you are going to do FISH on a sperm technology, it is indicated of the males with an abnormal somatic or mitotic karyotype. So these are the different application of FISH. This can be used in the identification of the specific species, uh, for the diagnostic techniques. Then we can have karyotyping, spectral karyotyping. Many different type of applications are there. So this is all about on the fish technology. Hope you understand it. If you have any query, any comments, you can write in the comment box. If you are not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.